What's going on, guys? Welcome to Rob's house. Man, today is I don't even know what to say. Today is a day that I guess a couple years ago, if you asked me if this day would ever come, the response would be maybe, but not for a while. Yeah, I can't think of anything to say. I feel super lucky today. I bought another car, and well, you guys might recognize it. Check it out. Sorry guys, this is I'm not usually at a loss for words. I really just don't know what to say. I've been doing a lot of reflecting and I feel really lucky today. You guys saw this car in the last video. This is a 2015 Lamborghini Huracan, and I didn't tell you guys at the time because nothing was finalized, but I had already made an offer on the car, and Aaron was taking me for a ride in it so I could experience it while he still mulled over his decision, and he decided to let it go. So she is now mine. I can't even believe I'm saying that. My Lamborghini. It's a long way from bagging groceries at a grocery store, I'll tell you that much. That's what I did in high school. I was a bag groceries at a grocery store, and then I was a pizza guy. I told you guys in previous videos, I had the Viper on my wall. That was my dream car, and I had all American cars, right? Mustangs, Corvettes, Vipers, all the stuff that I now have. That was all the stuff that I dreamed about when I was a kid. And there was one Euro car on that wall, only one. I'm not really into Euro cars, you guys know that. No hate, just not my thing. Always been about the American stuff. And the one car I had on my wall was a bright green, because green's my favorite color, Lamborghini Murcielago, because these didn't exist yet at the time, right? This was the mid 2000s. And I don't know. I was like, hey, maybe someday, but probably not, but maybe, but probably not. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. Really, I don't know what to say. I'm feeling a lot of weird emotions, ranging from excitement to nervousness to fear to imposter syndrome a little bit. It's just hard for me to actually, I don't think it's hit me yet, honestly. I don't think it's hit me that it's real. I feel like I'm borrowing it, except I'm not borrowing it, which is crazy. Big shout out to Aaron. I picked the car up this morning, and he helped me load it onto my trailer and everything, and really excited to see what he has coming next. He and I have become closer over the years. He's a good guy, and really good guy, and I enjoy talking to him and stuff. And yeah, when he heard I was interested, he was like, I told him about a year ago. I said, hey, if you ever decide to sell that thing, you know, I love that car, like, let me know. You know, I want first crack at it. He's like, all right, you know, realistically, what's your time frame? I said 2 or 3 years at the time, just playing it super conservative, super safe. And I was like, you know, things could change, kind of depends. Fortunately, the last year has went really, really well for me. Sorry for the noise in the background, they're doing some lawn stuff. Last year's went really, really well for me. He hit me up and he said, hey, I know this is sooner than you were planning, but I'm thinking about selling the car. Haven't decided yet, but you know, I figured I'd let you know. I had seen him post about it, like as a feeler kind of on one of the Lamborghini pages, because I had joined some of the pages on Facebook, and I was like, hey, you know, what's the deal? And he said, I'm thinking about selling it. You know, and he said, well, you know, is it too soon, or, you know, what are you thinking? Threw some numbers out there. You know, he threw some numbers, I threw some numbers. He said, all right, let me think about it. Long story short, he thought about it, and he texted me on Monday and said, hey, let's do it. It's pretty crazy. I'm not even like processed this yet. I have to drive it still. I haven't driven it. I just unloaded it off my trailer at my house. So I have the GoPro in the car, and I'm taking you guys with me. Let's go for our first drive. Let's see what this thing's, let's see what it's like to drive this thing. That wasn't even full throttle. okay. Guys, I don't know what the hell I just did. This I don't know if this was a mistake or a great idea. I don't know, okay? I just don't know. I'm excited. I'm terrified. Actually, let's get gas. Like, I'm trying to think about what to say, but I'm also just like really trying to concentrate because I'm not familiar with this thing and I'm scared. I can't believe this is actually my car. Dude, the blow off valve sound. Whew. You know what's crazy too? Because it, like with most turbo cars, the turbos kind of function as mufflers. So it's not that loud. Like, it's loud, don't get me wrong, it sounds great. But like the titanium exhaust, chef's kiss. Very nice. But as far as like the C7 or what, like it's not nearly as loud as that. Or the Mustang, or you know, it's not as loud as those cars. I love every downshift. Psh, psh, psh. The blow off valve, that's so sick. How is this my car? I feel like I'm in a daze. I had to take some time after I got back from my first drive. It's hitting me that this is actually real. I don't even know what to say. I'm like so thankful right now. Yeah, I don't know. JJ and Kayla are gonna be home soon, so JJ wanted to see it, so I'm gonna pull it back out for him and we'll see what he thinks. What do you think, buddy?
I like it.
Yeah? Do you think I was trolling when I said when I told you the other day I was gonna buy Mr. Aaron's Lambo?
No.
I don't think he believed me.
Look at all this forged carbon.
Yeah, Mama's learning. Look at that. Miss Julia helped me unload it. Shout out to Julia.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was tight in that trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you like the orange?
That's exactly what I said.
The Vols. Tennessee Vols interior.
My sister was like, "Does that have butterfly doors?" I was like,
No.
I think that's just Aventadors.
Just the Aventadors. Yeah, that's right. And they're not butterfly doors, they're vertical doors.
Can I turn it on?
No, I have the key.
I don't. Can you give me the key?
Put on the brake.
On it.
Flip that red cap up and push start. Mama, you gotta give JJ the pops. It's just because it's cold, buddy.
Does it have fire eyeballs?
No. No fire eyeballs.
Just smoke?
We can add fire eyeballs.
Just smoke? It's because it's cold, JJ.
Yeah, the smoke. Yeah, it doesn't smoke once it's warmed up.
There's
It's just
nothing
cold.
to look at.
Yeah, it's a Lambo.
There's this much space.
They're notoriously bad visibility-wise, but
crazy.
it's actually not that bad. Like the side's not bad. The side windows are kind of big, actually. I thought it'd be worse than it was.
I like this.
Mom, gonna go for a ride?
Okay, yes.
We gotta get the reaction video. Come on. What?
Much nicer to ride in this one. It's not as loud. It's the Viper or the Corvette.
Yeah, it's good. Like I said, the turbos act kind of as mufflers a little bit. Like, there are no mufflers on this car at all. It's completely straight pipes, but it has turbos. So that's why Cletus always jokes that the only mufflers you need are turbos.
Oh my God, Rob, stop! Oh my God, no! No!
Yes.
No!
Yes.
Oh.
That was only like 7,000 RPMs.
I don't like that.
I like it.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
See why I'm scared of it now? You feel the turbo spool? Like at first I hit it and didn't really do much, and then whoa,
yes.
yeah.
Oh yes, I felt that.
That's called turbo lag.
I do not like that. It feels like you're gonna just.
It's all-wheel drive. It just hooks up. See,
oh
it did.
My God.
That barely spun. That's not even red line. It gets crazier.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I don't like about roller coasters.
Yep. That is what it feels like. Like when I was like, that's fourth, he literally was in fourth. And now yeah. I told you this was by far the fastest car I've ever been in. I got a great reaction of Kayla.
I told you, she was like, I yelled the whole time.
She was actually screaming. Little baby one. Yeah, it's fast. But like then when you're just chilling, you're just like every other aircon.
Yeah. This car is so much fun. Oh my God. It doesn't even feel like it.
No.
I
It's
mean,
really
it does,
smooth.
but like...
No, it's really smooth. I just love that blow off noise every time I downshift.
Oh yeah.
Whew. I just realized I forgot to do an outro, guys. It's the next day. It's like super gloomy here and freezing. It's like 40 degrees. It's really cold. I don't know. I've had a day to let this sink in, and it still doesn't even feel real. Yeah, I don't even know what to say, guys. I'm just like, I've just been doing a lot of reflecting, and I'm just super thankful. Like I said in my Instagram post, we're a long way from bagging groceries and delivering pizzas, that's for sure. Yeah, it still doesn't even feel real. I've been getting blown up for the last day on like Instagram and stuff because everyone's, you know, very all good stuff, like very congratulatory and like a lot of really positive, uplifting messages. It's really cool. It's cool to succeed, but it's also cool when other people support you, you know, and like I love seeing other people achieve their dreams too. It probably sounds weird, but like after I bought it, I was like self-conscious. Like I went to get gas and everyone was looking at me and I was just like, I mean, you guys see me on camera all the time. I just wear like t-shirts and hoodies and stuff. Like I'm not a super flashy person, even though the cars can be a little flashy sometimes. Obviously my C7 wrap is loud to say the least, but it's just like stuff that I think is cool, you know, like, so like my C7, some people hate it, you know, they think it looks terrible. Some people love it. You know, I love it. I think it looks dope. Plus I could always just peel the vinyl off if I ever get bored of it, but it's been on there for years now and I still like it. So I'm like, whatever, I'm rolling with it. Again, shout out to Aaron, although I'm going to pull his tag off of this now. This is, I mean, it's really a dream come true. And I still can't really believe it's mine. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed some of those reactions. Everyone on Instagram has been absolutely loving my wife's reaction. I did get her permission to post it. Obviously, I didn't want to embarrass her, of course, if she didn't want me to post it, but she said it was fine. You know, she has a good sense of humor. She can laugh at herself too. I mean, hey, to everyone out there, whoever you are, even if you're just a kid delivering pizzas like I was, anything's possible. It's cheesy, but it's true. It sounds cliche. You really can do anything that you set your mind to. I mean, if I'm not at least proof of that, certainly didn't have this handed to me. I mean, I guess I'll give you guys the backstory before we go. Like, why not? Let's do one of these where I go stereotypical YouTuber and just talk straight into the camera before we sign off. Ignore the Viper. There's a huge video coming on that. I know I've teased it a bunch of times. It's going slower than expected, but it's gonna be sick. Ignore that. We're gonna talk about that, and we're gonna talk about how I got there. So I've not really given everyone the full backstory because I don't usually talk about my career on the channel because it's not really just like related to my hobbies and stuff, but I'll give you guys the quick version of the story, if you will. I grew up in a middle-class family. We didn't worry about stuff. You know, it's not like we weren't worried about our house or food or anything like that. But we didn't have anything like this, that's for sure. We just lived a really normal life. I don't really know how else to describe it. It was just your average run. I went to school. I played some sports. I played baseball growing up. Got into music. You guys see my music stuff. I've been playing instruments and stuff since I was like 7. So that's always been a huge part of my life. And I told you guys when I bought the Viper that when I was a teenager, I saw my first Viper, and that's what got me into cars. I never really paid attention to cars before that until I saw that first Viper. And then it was like off to the race. You guys know how it goes. You're all car people. You know how it goes. You once that spark gets ignited, it's over. You know, you're hooked, and there's no escaping it. So I used to work at a grocery store. I bagged groceries and pushed carts. I did not enjoy that job. It was a local supermarket. I felt that we were all treated very poorly, and the one good thing it did for me was it motivated me because I never wanted to work a job like that ever again. When I got my license, bandmate of mine at the time, shout out to Jimmy. If Jim Bradley is watching this video, I remember this. He said, "Hey man, Giuseppe's Pizzeria," which is also my favorite pizzeria, coincidentally, in the area. Shout out to Vinny and everyone at Giuseppe's. He's like, "They're gonna need a new driver," because I had enlisted in the military. And I said, "Oh, like, wait, what?" You know, I didn't know. I grew up around the time that the Iraq and Afghanistan wars were happening. So he enlisted to serve our country. I hope he's doing well. Haven't talked to him actually in a long time. And he was going to basic training. And he said, "Pizzeria is going to need a replacement." So my boss asked me if I knew anybody, and I figured, I knew you didn't like, I know you don't like your job, and you can make some more money over here, and like, would you be interested, And I was like, yeah, absolutely. We had talked about it before, and I'm like, man, I wish I had a job like that. Like, my job sucks. So he got me the job at Giuseppe's. I worked there for a few years. Loved that job. That job was so much fun. Delivering pizzas is awesome because, like, it can be stressful at times because you're busy, but that's kind of any job. But everyone's happy to see the pizza guy for the most part. Every now and then you get a disgruntled customer, but you get a lot of positive ones too, which is cool. Worked there until I went to college. Saved up about $4,000 after, because I had to pay for my car, gas, insurance. Like, I paid for all that stuff. So, or I guess not my car. My car was a hand-me-down from, my first car was a hand-me-down from my grandfather, and my second car was a hand-me-down from my uncle. But like, I did maintain the car, right? And I had to pay for insurance, and I had to pay for gas, and right, like, there was operational costs. And being a teenager, you still want to be able to go out to eat with your friends and stuff like that. But I was still like, I need to save money. So I saved up about $4,000, which to me was a ton of money at the time. And then I went to college, and I stretched that $4,000 as spending money for like things I needed for my dorm. If you like, literally, not that you bought groceries because I had a meal plan the first year, but like, if I needed paper towels, or if I needed toiletries, or if whatever, like, just everyday stuff you need. And I was like, I know I'm not going to have income when I'm in college, so I have to have some savings so that I can get through it, right? So I went to University of Delaware. My undergrad was in computer science. I got a job as a TA, teaching assistant, for a professor because I just like have always worked. So it felt weird to not work and not have any income and stuff like that. So come junior year, once the freshman and sophomore, like the weed out classes, the ones where they give you a ton of busy work, once those classes were kind of over and done with, I got that teaching assistant job because I had like some time, I had a little bit of free time. So I decided to make some side money. And in doing so, the professor that I worked for did research in general purpose GPU computing, so high performance computing. And I said, hey, could I get involved in a project because I'd like to have something on my resume for when I graduate that sets me apart from my peers, because I felt like my resume was going to look kind of generic. And, I just thought that if I had like something on there that other people didn't, maybe it would help me get a job. He was like, yeah, absolutely. Let's get you started right away. And he said, the first thing I want you to do is after this semester, I want you to quit your teaching assistant job because I need help in the lab. And I want you to take the 20 hours a week that you're putting into being a TA right now, and I want you to work for me instead. And I said, okay. And he said, I'll pay you, you know, like an hourly wage. I think it was, I want to say it was like $11 an hour. I don't quite remember, honestly. It was above minimum wage, not much above minimum wage, but it was, you know, it was fine. It added up to more than I was making as a TA. So I was like, hey, I'm win-win situation. Build my resume and make a little bit more money. Sounds good. Off to the races with that. First project, I actually ended up contributing and publishing my first paper. I mean, there's multiple of us on the paper, right? It's not like an individual effort, but I was on a publication and I flew out to California to a conference to present that publication before I even graduated my undergrad. And at that point, that professor asked me if I ever thought about grad school. And I said, no, I can't afford it. You know what I mean? My parents saved up to send all three of us, I have two siblings, all three of us to college. And I wasn't going to ask them for any more money. I already was overwhelmed by what they were doing for me to begin with. And he said, well, that's not how grad school works. You know, I'll pay you. I'll keep paying you. And I was like, what do you, like, I don't understand. What do you mean? And he said, if you want to get a PhD. I was like, PhD? I thought we were talking about a master's. He said, no. I mean, that's part of it. You're going to have to also do that. But, you know, think about it. See if it's something you want to do. So I'm like, are you for real? You know, I had never thought about this. I mean, I thought like only super geniuses get PhDs, and I don't know. It's just not something that I ever thought I was cut out for, I guess. And he was like, you have what it takes. He's like, how many of your peers published a conference paper before they graduated, before they even had their bachelor's? You know, I don't know. And he's like, well, I know. The answer is 0. There's nobody else in your graduating class doing this. I graduated undergrad one of 22 people in my graduating class. Long story short, I'll try to keep it brief, not get too granular with it, but I decided to do it, to go for it, and pursue grad school. That was a 7-year road after undergrad, so I was in college for a total of 11 years. I ended up switching from his lab into another lady named Sunita's lab. Shout out to Sunita. Professor Chandrasekharan at University of Delaware. She got hired right around the time that my old advisor decided that he didn't want to do high performance computing anymore. He wanted to do cybersecurity, which is fine, but that's just not what I had signed up. It just wasn't what I was interested in. I wanted to continue doing the high performance computing stuff. So it just seemed to make sense. I approached her, asked if she would take me on. She said yes. I approached him, told him, hey, I think I'm going to switch labs. It's just more in line with my interests and stuff. He totally understood, to his credit. There was no issue there. I switched to her lab, and I graduated in 2019 with my PhD in computer science. You know, keep in mind, I was in this space starting in about 2010, 2011, and because as an undergrad, right? And so I had already, you know, I already knew kind of where the industry was moving and who was doing what and stuff like that. So my new advisor asked me if, so what are your plans after graduation? Do you want to go into academia? Do you want to go into industry? Do you want to work at a national lab doing research? What path do you want to go? I said, definitely industry, 100%. She said, okay, if you could work anywhere, where would it be? Like, what's your ideal situation upon graduation? I said, I want to work for NVIDIA. And she said, okay. And I said, they're the ones doing it. They're the ones at the forefront. You know, people may not see it yet, but, you know, I think this is going to really make an impact in this space. She said, all right, let's work towards that. We know tons of people at NVIDIA. We collaborate with them all the time on research. They had supported our lab tremendously over the years. They support a lot of academics and stuff like that. Just an awesome group of people. We knew a ton of people at the company already. Every time I went to conferences, she made sure to introduce me to every NVIDIA person that she knew. And in 2019, I was at their GTC, their GPU technology conference, presenting my dissertation defense research. And I was approached by someone who I was friendly with at NVIDIA about a job opening. A couple months later, actually before I graduated technically, I had defended my dissertation already, so I was effectively done. I had completed my degree, but the graduation ceremonies only take place in June and in January. So I had to wait till June to actually formally graduate. But I started working at NVIDIA in May of 2019, and I still work there. I am a senior solutions architect at NVIDIA. I work on the public sector supercomputing team, and I help our customers leverage our products, in particular our GPUs, in their supercomputers. That ranges from anything from teaching them how to program them, how to use our debugging and performance optimization tools, helping them actually do the optimization in their codes, helping them troubleshoot their system, whatever they need, basically. pre and post sale. So I'm not a salesperson. I don't actually make the sales, but I'm a technical resource for our customers that buy our products. That's what I do. I haven't really talked about that on the channel before. I didn't know if that was something you guys would be interested in. I had a lot of people asking me questions about like how I got here and stuff like that with this purchase in particular. I had been asked that along the way, but with this, I got a lot of DMs yesterday on Instagram and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't know if people care, like maybe you're not interested. If you're not interested, you could like just skip the rest of the video because that's all this is gonna be. But I mean, just if anyone is interested out there, like how I came up and, you know, like what my life was like and how my life ended up being like this, you know. That's how I was born in 1990. So in 2019, when I graduated, I was 29 years old. Also during grad school, you get paid to go to grad school, like you get a stipend, but it's not a lot of money. And in fact, it's very little money. You don't have to pay tuition, which is nice, but you still got to pay rent. You know, you still got to live somewhere. So I also had started a business with a friend of mine who was in sales, who has just a great business sense, named Charlie. And he and I started a business as DJs. And we actually made it. Like, we were good at it. I mean, I know a lot of people have that as a hobby, but I'm talking, I was making more as a DJ than grad school was paying me. So but by the end. Now, it took about 5 years to get there. So there was a lot of dive bars and a lot of gigs that didn't make very much money. But towards the end of grad school, like I had real income. Between the two, I was making anywhere from $50,000 to $60,000 a year, which for a student is pretty good. My grad school I mean, I don't care, I'll talk numbers. My grad school stipend was $25,000 a year. So I was pulling in around another $30,000 a year as a DJ. And that relieved a lot of financial stress, because living off $25K a year before taxes, by the way, still to pay taxes, it is tight. You know, you always have roommates. You're living very paycheck to paycheck. You're budgeting everything. I mean, like I cooked all my meals just about. The only place I could afford to eat out was Wawa. Anyone from up north knows what that is. It's coming to Tennessee. Can't wait. Nostalgia factor for me. I still love Wawa. That was like a treat for me. If I got Wawa, you know, I'd get a sandwich 2 or 3 times a week during Hoagie Fest because it was only $5. And aside from that, I basically cooked all my meals. And I would also, because I got a small bar tab while I was DJing, I wouldn't drink because, you know, I had to drive. So I was like, you know, maybe would have one drink. But usually I would use that tab for food so that I could get a couple free meals a week that way. And then I could, you know, this is how you think when you're living that tight, right? And I know some of you watching understand what I'm talking about. So I know what it's like to live that life. I didn't think I'd be living this life. I still feel like I'm in a dream. Like, I don't even feel like this is real making this video right now. Like I said, I gave up my 20s. My friends had graduated. They all left the town and getting married, starting families, buying houses, you know, normal things that people do. And I was super happy for them. But sometimes I felt left behind. Sometimes I doubted myself and I thought, you know, what am I doing? Is this really worth it, or am I just wasting my time when I could be out there working? You know, I have a degree, like I could be out there working and like making money and stuff like that. I can't even say that I was that confident, like that I knew what I was doing. Like I really didn't. I was just like, I hope this works, you know? And I was just building those skills, more and more specialization. And it just all culminated when I landed the job that I have now. I feel super, super thankful for so many things along the way. I texted some of those people. Like I remember one year, one of my buddies, so I had 2 roommates, one of them graduated and got a job, awesome. The other one unfortunately got laid off, so he didn't want to re-sign the lease. He was gonna move back home temporarily. So I had nowhere to go, and I had not much notice. I mean, we're talking just a couple months before we had to re-sign our lease. I want to say I only had 2 or 3 months if I'm remembering it correctly. I just didn't know where I was going to go. And one of my buddies who, I had met him through a mutual friend when I was in undergrad. He didn't actually go to school with us, but he lived in the area, and he's still a really, really good friend of mine. Shout out to Brandon. And I remember talking to Brandon about it, and he offered me his spare bedroom for not much rent, you know. I mean, it was around what I was already paying. Actually, if I remember correctly, it might have been a little less than what I was already paying at the time. So it was huge. I think it was like $100 or $150 less per month, which to me was like a huge amount of money at the time. And he gave me a home because I really didn't know where I was going to go. You know, I had no other roommate prospects and I didn't have a lot of time. And that was leading into my final year of grad school. So I did a lot of reflecting on stuff like that yesterday, you know, when I picked this thing up. I texted a lot of people, including him, including my old advisor, including some of my other friends that supported me in a variety of ways along the years. One of my good friends that I used to bag groceries with, who always, you know, we both loved cars, and he always dreamed of opening his own shop. Well, guess what? He has his own shop now. He's killing it. One of my other friends hit me up when he saw my post that worked with me at the pizzeria. And he was like, dude, remember when we were just kids, like talking about cars like this while we were, you know, because like when we would go in, we'd go in at 4 and we'd have to kind of wait for that dinner rush before we were all kind of scrambling. So we'd have like a half an hour to an hour usually before the action started. And he's like, remember when we were just sitting there waiting for the deliveries to pop off, and like we'd just be daydreaming and like talking about cars like this, and like, oh, I saw this the other day, I saw that the other day. It's like, yeah, man. And he's like, you know, you did it. It's like, yeah, I guess I did, didn't I? Some of my friends that just that I grew up with, that just knew that this was stuff that I always dreamed about. Some of my other friends who I both grew up with and just like play video games with sometimes at night, that, you know, helped me relieve stress during grad school, and still do to this day. I mean, I still multiple nights a week play PUBG with my friend Armand and my other friend Mike. I had done some of this reflecting before, but for some reason this time was different, just because this is big. I did a lot of that reflecting yesterday. I felt a lot of emotions, like I already kind of mentioned in the video, like excitement, fear, a little bit of imposter syndrome. Like I still, like when I open the door to this thing, I'm just like, should I even be sitting in this? How's this even real? Like I still feel like I'm in a dream, but it all worked out. I would like to say that I knew what I was doing and I had some grand master plan and stuff, but like honestly, I really didn't. I just sort of rolled with the punches. And I mean, if anything, like what I learned through getting a PhD was it was just really just a test of endurance and work ethic. It wasn't, you don't have to be a super genius to do it or anything like that. I never had stellar grades. I never had horrible grades, but I never had like great grades either. I was like barely above average. I'm not a good test taker, you know. I have to look things up all the time, even still, but I'm good at doing that quickly. My past self would have never pictured any of this. Like me spending 11 years in college when I didn't even really like school, and then this, blah, blah, blah. You guys get the idea. Anyway, that's like a Spark Notes version of my backstory, if anyone was interested. And I just felt like I would share that. For any of the kids out there that watch, that are dreaming, I was you. That's it, man. Like, we're the same. I'm just a guy, and I put a lot of time in and a lot of effort in. That's really it. There's no secret sauce. That's just is what it is. You know, for anyone who is still in that grind, trying to better themselves, if this can give you a little motivation, that's awesome. And for anyone who thinks they can't, my mom had I think it was a magnet on our fridge growing up. And I just remember seeing it every day when I opened the fridge, and it said the worst bad word is can't. You can, and if you work hard enough, you will. It's as simple as that. All right, I'm gonna leave it at that before I get more emotional, and hopefully I didn't bore you guys to death. As usual, I hope this video was helpful. I hope this video was entertaining, and I'll see you guys next time.
Reach for the stars, 'cause we're